Hello everyone, my name is Notepad and Anon and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on an old project of mine, actually. Kind of an older one. That's been sitting on the back of my mind for a while for a plethora of reasons. Mostly because I can't help but forget about it and not want to worry about it. So what is that game? We go right over here. Welcome to Yóuxì, a game that effectively is, if I remember, it's a one people, or what? Because Yóuxì is one China, no, this is one nation, if I remember correctly. Yóuxì is one nation, yeah. And what is this game about? Well, this is a board game I wrote. Yes, a board game. And in case you want to know, do I do board games now? Like, yeah, I've always wanted to get more into board games because that shit makes money. So that's what I've been doing. Hello, Corey. How are you doing? So today we're going to be trying to work on this. I'm going to try to finish this up actually and get to a decent place. That's what we're going to say. We're going to say the decent place, not a good place, it's a decent one. So that's the plan. Got my water here. So majority of the game is actually done. That's the thing. The basic idea as we go here is that all of you are playing as Chinese warlords circa about 1918-ish, but kind of gets a little bit nebulous because the Chinese Civil War was fucked in more than a few ways. This is why I do like this entire like preface on it, because this is kind of an era of China we don't really hear about that often because the Chinese don't like it. The Chinese do not like going over to this particular section of time for very many reasons. For a lot of reasons, like an absurd number of reasons. They don't like going over to this era at all. And mostly because, well, these are the nationalists. And the nationalist Chinese eventually would become Taiwan. Or officially, the Republic of China. Which is kind of a contentious fact. Because yes, that people sometimes get that wrong about things. Taiwan is technically China, and China is also technically China. Both of them are completely valid in their assumption that they are the right China, but also not. It gets a little bit messy in that regard, and the Chinese government doesn't really like to talk about the Chinese Civil War because really the reason why the communists won in the Chinese Civil War was because of dumb fucking luck. And for a variety of reasons. In most cases, in the astronaut, in the infinite realities of our beautiful time, the fact that the Chinese communists won is a miracle and a half. So just kind of make sure you remember that as kind of like a fundamental part of this. The Chinese communists should not have won. They should not be here. However, they are. So this was my kind of like my temporary map. I've been trying to find a good map of China for a long time. And this is one I used. Originally, this game was supposed to be a game based off of Diplomacy, actually. The old popular board game, probably. The friendship killer. So yeah, this is the friendship killer game, Diplomacy. It was originally based off that, particularly, if I go over here, the online... The order system of like you have to order people to certain locations, and it's kind of that everything is resolved at once. Diplomacy is a very fascinating game. There's a reason it's kind of stood at the test of time. Now, let's see. Place railway and industry tokens on specific provinces. This is one of the issues that I was having, is that technically this side of the country is incredibly industrialized. The eastern half of the country is the most industrialized section of China during this time. More specifically, about from here down to about here. Right along the coastline was the actual industrial heartland of China, while everything past about here was not. It was not at all. Every physically as far away from industrialized you can think of. Let's see. From there, clockwise do the same. Choose their starting province. Player will go in the same order, placing up 5 entry units adjacent or own provinces to claim ownership. So yeah, pretty much the idea is that you put down your HQ and then you start distributing units around. I go from oldest to youngest because I'm the oldest in my friend group, therefore I get to go first, because fuck you. It's my game, I can do that. But it's also kind of like a Chinese honor system. If going first is useful, because you're like, oh, I'm going to put it down on 32 is going to be my home base, so I get all this. But everyone's going to know, I'm not going to go to 32 or anything around that. I'm instead going to go to the industrial heartland, or I'm going to go into Manchuria. Very cool. You also notice I somewhat added in a little country over here that may or may not exist. Hi Tibet, my Tibetan viewers. I didn't want the Chinese to kick open my door, so let's see. 2 players come to the same path. Player receive different color D6s representing infantry, armor, and artillery. 5 claimed land tokens, and finally their secret objective. You get 10 silver, 10 troops to start their conquest, and war machine. So I'm actually going to put a note for myself here, in which, no, not suggesting. I don't want to suggest anything. So what I want to do is I want to put down make the tokens, because ideally I want to get to this place where I can actually upload everything to probably the tabletop simulator, and you can play the game if you want. Just for free, obviously. So let's see. Use 4 separate actions take place during the season. Action: purchase, put down a command post, industry railway, deploy troops, spend much silver and troops available. Diplomacy. Diplomacy is diplomatic engagements with actually the player engages in diplomatic talks with another player. A player or foreign investor paying the cost of unique improvements. Engages in diplomatic talks with another player or a foreign investor, paying the cost for unique improvements. Okay, there we go. Paying the cost for unique improvement to their forces, or raising the diplomacy scale. Integration track up. Let's see, integrate, moves the integration track up to an ally by 1 space, move army, places an army, a number of units, or a number of units in a province, I should say. In a province, 1 space in any direction. They are opposed, if another player's forces, there's army is on the same province, a battle breaks out. Same province, a battle breaks out. If not, they will seize the province. The number of silver and troops equal to the number of provinces they own. Okay. I'm gonna mark this in red. I need to make sure taxing works. So there are 5 victory conditions in Yige Minzu. Cannot chokehold. Majority of the industry and railway in the game, including all newly built ones within 10 years, pretty much. Let's see. Overall, the game's going to take a full game is 40 turns, but someone's going to win before that. That's kind of the core idea. Destroy rival, limit all other players from the game, become the sole ruler of China before 10 years have gone by, hold territory. Let's Imperial Glory as an Imperial Flower. Imperial Vic Glory, and so I'm not sure on the Imperial Glory. One secret objective. Originally had a secret fucking objective. I don't even remember if I have those anymore. Playing the game. Once established with the largest number of provinces, or old if there's a tie, will begin the year. With 6 actions. Building is warlords of China. It's your obligation to care for your people. If there's a tie, it will begin the year. Let's see. You may spend a number of silver to construct new industry command posts. Actually, it would be bases. No, bunkers. Command posts. Industry or railway. Oh, railways. That's what we need to do. I don't know where the term bases comes from. Man post industry or railway. Further your military efforts. Headquarters of the warlord. Forward base of operations. Our nation is its industrial capacity. Each tier of the industries. The beating heart of a nation is its industrial capacity. And control province provides an additional +1 silver every season. Railways provide transportation to the armies of the warlords. If a move action is used in province with additional space, chaining multiple railways together can result in rapid redeployment from across China. So, pretty much, industry was the idea behind. That's your passive income right there. That is just what you do. That is how you build passive income. You invest in industry, and it would be like in province 32, I have 1, 2, 3 industry. Once I have those 3 industry, that's mine. And every season, pretty much every round, every turn, technically, every time everyone goes. Actually, I should actually. Let's see. Every tier of industry in a controlled province provides an additional +1 silver at the start of every season. At the start of every season. So before you even act, you're going to get your money. Railways provide transportation for the armies of the warlords. If a move action is used in a province with a railway, the army may move an additional space, chaining multiple railways together. Period. Redeployment from across China. Deploying troops. Player may chooses to deploy troops is allowed to expend their hoarded and mostly willing troops to fight for them in the field. Deploy command posts. Oh god, it's coughing. I don't like coughing. Ugh. Let's see. Soldier command posts. If no command posts are currently in their possession, a player is unable to deploy troops. Let's see. 6 types of troops to be deployed, each one possessing different qualities and values in the war effort. The troop attack represents they must roll on d6 to score a hit while assaulting a province, which actually reminds me, troop icons with ATK/DEF. While assaulting a province, while the defend represents they must roll on d6 to score a hit while hunkered down in a province. So, armor, decommissioned tanks, other heavily armored fighting machines allow precise, fragile bodies. Yeah, like, armor is really damn good. Like, that's the idea behind armor, is that armor is very valuable, and you pretty much have to roll a 4 up on a d6 to do it. So if you have 2 armor, You roll, and I scored fuck all, so I scored a 4 here. That means I'm gonna kill someone. Like they're just dead. Artillery, able to shoot. The artillery are really vulnerable. Actually, I should make this. They can't really defend themselves. That's the issue. Actually, no, I'm going to put that as 6. Irregular, fairly armed citizens and bandits scrounging together with guns. Okay, the air war is slightly different from the ground. Instead of providing direct assistance in battle, they instead provide free hits on the enemies if they are able to stay alive. Player who employing a bomber in a battle scores a free hit for every bomber in the battle. For every friendly bomber in the battle, while a bomber is destroyed if the enemy uses a fighter, but that same fighter can be countered by allied fighters. My friendly enemy fighter can be countered by friendly fighters. So I know I'm gonna have to put a side note in here. Actually, that's what I'm gonna do right now. Side note, how the air war functions. Let's say for example, an army has 3 fighters, 2 bombers, versus another with 3 bombers and 2 with 2 fighters and 2 bombers. With 2 fighters. The friendly forces choose to put up 1 fighter, 2 bombers, while the 1 fighter, 2 bombers, while the enemy forces deploy 2 fighters. The friendly and enemy. The friendly fighter counters the opposing fighter. Actually, should I add in? We'll have to rewrite this section. I need to rewrite this section, I think. Because the idea behind the air war is that you're providing you're pretty much providing support. They're not really that valuable if you're getting countered. So, the air war is different from the ground battles, as instead of providing direct assistance, they instead provide free hits on the opposing force if they are able to stay alive. A player who is using a bomber in a battle. Players must dedicate. Air wings are assigned to armies. Air wings move with armies. Air wings move with armies. And when deployed, and when they begin battle, the player may choose to dedicate a number of fighters and bombers to the conflict, to the fight. Just a fighter, but that same enemy fighter can be... let's see. So, when they begin battle, the player may choose a dedicated number of fighters and bombers to the fight. So, for example, I have a similar colored dice somewhere? Do I have? Ah, here we go. So, I have two fighters and a bomber. I get into a fight. All my ground forces are going to fight. That's just a guarantee. All my ground forces will fight. But I'm going to say I'm going to deploy one of my bombers. Because I know they don't have any air. Actually, you know, it's like, if they don't have any air, I'm going to deploy both my bombers. I'm good. However, I know they have air. I don't know what they're going to deploy, though. So it's kind of that moment of, okay, I'm going to deploy one fighter, one bomber. Pretty much, I have a shield in front of my bomber. And they swing by, and our bomber... do fighters blow each other up? That's the question. Do fighters blow each other up? No. They're going to have to roll. Okay, so air wings move with armies. When they do battle, the player may choose a dedicated number of fighters and bombers to the fight. Bombers may not be destroyed. How do I want to word this? God. Board game design is always different from RPG design, because RPG design, you could just say, fuck it, let the GM handle it. You can't do that in like a rule book, like a board game rule book. You got to be a little bit more conservative with your wording. So air wings move with armies. When they begin battle, the player may choose to dedicate a number of fighters and bombers to the fight. When undergoing the fight... Okay. When deploy, actually before the battle begins, both sides reveal what air wings they have deployed. So pretty much you don't know what everyone's deploying, and then you pretty much say, I'm deploying this, I'm deploying this, and everyone collectively says fuck. Both sides reveal what air wings they've deployed. Fighters will engage with one another in the air, while undefended bombers are immediately destroyed by air wings not engaged by friendly fighters. Not engaged by other fighters. Does this make sense? So through the air wings they've deployed, fighters will engage with one another in the air. The bomber is destroyed if the enemy uses a fighter, but that same enemy fighter can be countered by... Hits can still be freely assigned to aircraft. Do I want to put that in there? Yeah. Hits can still be freely assigned to air wings. The air wings in the battle representing accident. Air wings in the battle. There we go. Actually, no. Hits cannot be assigned to air wings. But if the army is destroyed, the air wings are lost. So pretty much you can have, like, I have an army there, I have 4 tanks, and I have like 4 tanks, 4 air wings. Okay. I don't know how I want to do that though, but actually, air wings are based out of command posts. Command posts, or do I have any other locations that I can use? Bunkers? No. Actually, yeah, no. Air wings are based out of command posts or bunkers. And when a battle begins, and when a battle begins, and it is within 3. Actually, it is adjacent to a province, adjacent to the air wings base. So pretty much you're dedicating it to command post or bunkers, but they are very valuable in terms of just being able to destroy one another. So hits cannot be assigned to air wings, but the army is destroyed when the air wings are lost. Okay. So destroy bomber. Actually, attack air. Destroy air wing. I'm going to say destroy air wing. It's going to be a plus. It's going to be a 4+. So pretty much, let's say I've got 2 wings deployed. They've got 2 wings deployed. We're crashing into one another. So I'm going to roll. I scored 1 hit. They roll. They scored 1 hit. We destroy one another. The other 2 wings go home. No bombers were destroyed. Yeah. Shoot down. Enemy bombers shoot down. Stop them from destroying key positions. But the thing is, fighters don't generate free hits. And all a free hit does, is simply, all damage is resolved effectively, is that if you have 5 troops and you take 3 hits, you take 3 of your guys and send them to the fucking Shadow Realm. They're dead. They are dead. That's the tragic part of it. Is when they die, hits are just destroy. It's a 1-to-1 engagement effectively, and that's kind of one of the issues you got to deal with. So if we do a destroy an air wing, destroy. Actually, we'll do attack air. Yeah, we'll do attack attack fighter wing. It's going to be 4+. Actually, we can do 3+. 4+. 50-50. Bombers can't, though. That's the issue. Bombers can't. They just get free. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, the art of diplomacy is dangerous as it is profitable. Chooses to pursue diplomacy, make strike an agreement with any other player, purchase unique improvements. No, I want this to be its own thing. I want them to be like, do you want to have an alliance? Okay. If the players may strike agreements. May strike agreements whether they are private or public. May strike agreements privately or in public. Strike agreements privately or in public. These agreements are not formal, are not binding. Actually, these agreements are not binding and can be broken. However, if both sides agree to an alliance, they are allowed to go down the integration tree. They go down the integration track. So pretty much, I can strike a deal with another player. I can go up to player B and say, Player B, I want to move my troops through your land, and in exchange, I will give you 10 silver. He's like, all right, I'll let you do that. And he, I hand him 10 silver, and he allows me to move my troops through there. If he says, I'm going to attack him, like, we're going to effectively engage in a fight. Actually, I should actually do, can be any deal involving units passing through territory. Passing through territory invokes the non-hostility. Actually, how do I want to word this? The hospitality clause. Invokes the hospitality clause, and then we put a page number right there. Invokes the hospitality clause, and then I should put it in. That'll be in movement down below, so I don't have to worry about that. So let's see, the Imperial powers, each improvement can be purchased 3 times, increasing the cost for each purchase by different warlords. These bonuses do stack, allowing customizer ×2 railway discount Vietnamese workers. Technically, you can make railway almost free by virtue of just paying the French to do it for you. That is how that works. You literally bribe the French to make sure that you can build railway for free. But you're also giving the French a bunch of money, so. Let's see, industrial discounts, Hong Kong banking accounts, investments, fighter improvement. So fighter attack +1. Tsardom at the end of the war. Many White Russians fled to China. Conscript battalion, 4 infantry, 1 armor. Yes, you can buy armies effectively. These are conscript battalions. Morav's Design Bureau. Actually, we should say 3 infantry, 2 irregulars. Armor defense +1. Soviet advisors, irregular offense +1. You pretty much need the Soviets. If you notice people getting friendly with the Soviets, they can start spamming out troops really badly because they can make irregulars decent. Because if you get 2 of these, pretty much if you end up bribing the fucking, guys, 15 silver or, you can do 5 silver and 15 troops, your irregulars, which don't cost silver, by the way, you can then suddenly make them as good as infantry. That's pretty damn impressive. They're pretty damn good. The Taisho Japanese Empire, Dragon of the East. Let's see, Chinese expat forces, Imperial Air Force, Japanese advisors. The incredibly homoerotic Soviet Chinese friendship posters. Let's see, China, United States, fastest guns in the West. Let's see. 2 fighters. 2 fighters. 1. Actually, no, we're going to do 2 fighters, 1 bomber. 2 fighters, 1 bomber. Investment, the biggest and the grandest. Bombers plus 1 hit. Should be +2. So pretty much if you invest in the biggest and the grandest, your bombers can potentially do 2, 3, 4 damage if you get them all. But everybody's going to want that, by the way. That's kind of the issue. So the Sino-German technical mission. Partnership until the end of World War I with the Weimar Republic. Reintegrated military industrial complex of the Chinese. Armor defense, armor attack. Proto-Blitz doctrine. Heavier plating. Integration. To integrate, they intend to start to formalize alliances. When integration reaches 6, the mantle of leadership is called in question. It's formally head the new government, who will be eliminated. Either warlord for integrate action, one will reset it down 3 steps. Finally, a warlord may call an integrate action and instead dissolve the treaty entirely. No, I'm not. I'm gonna take that part out. Kind of like it's the idea is that you are. The integration tracker is very good because you want to go down it, but once you hit here, you pretty much become one. You pretty much join the other players one faction. Let's see. Alter net aggression. They cannot attack one another. Can freely move through another's territory without claiming it. Territory may be ceded or reorganized as appropriate. Each full military action assisting one another in warfare. You can integrate their administration, build one another's territory, as well as splitting, as well as having a collective income, collective silver and troop income. So pretty much anytime, you pretty much can get 2 taxes a season, which is really good, by the way. At 4, you're pretty much allowed to almost double your income. It's like, oh, well, I make 3 silver, I make 3 silver a season by just my industry. They have 3, industry a season. I get 3. We have kind of a collective coffer at 4. Formed a click to may interact with a shared pool of resources. Actually, anyways. It's 5. All territories. Merge our governments together, forming one click to fight. Click. One warlord is eliminated, giving territory to the other. And become one warlord is eliminated, and their territory is given to the other. But they may become a lieutenant of. Actually, one warlord becomes a lieutenant, and their territories and troops merge together. So pretty much, if you go down this, if you do full thing, this is 3 effectively turns of you saying, let's engage in a treaty. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Like, it takes it's going to take minimum 2 years to do this. Minimum 2 years. And that's if you do literally nothing else. If you do absolutely nothing else, you're going to be able to integrate pretty quickly. But integrating really quickly is really going to be useful to you. Because everyone's going to see that and probably do some things to make them want to win. Now let's see, moving the army. Armies units holding territory. They move, an army action is taken. When they move, army action is taken. They select one province and move. I need to formalize the term troops. Troops as an adjacent province of the choice. If the army were to be in province, more province with a railway and additional space, land another railways, they'd be able to one additional as well. Province with allied forces in it, with additional movement available to them. They're able to take all of the troops there as if they were part of the army. The army moving multiple spaces may deposit troops along the way if they wish. So pretty much how this works, in my mind's eye, if I take out my dice here, is that we have 3 units crossed out, and we have a railroad connecting all of them. I can take the first one, go to the first province, grab that other unit, move to the third province, pick up that guy, and then move. So I have a unit. I have 3 things. So you can use this to kind of like back up your forces and like reinforce very quickly as you move them down the track real fast. So if an army moves unoccupied, they have claimed it for the warlord. The warlord can put down one of their claimed land tokens or leave a unit there to hold the province. Blood, Death, and Thunder. With an enemy army on it as well, then combat begins at the end of the season. After all players have taken their actions, battles will take place in turn order of the attacker. Both players will amass their dice and who is in the battle. From there, both sides will roll their army dice. The unit scores a hit by rolling equal or greater than their attack or defend value. When the unit scores a hit by rolling equal to or greater than their attack or defend value, they will eliminate. They will destroy a unit. They will destroy a trooper at the. They'll destroy a troop on the opposing side. As chosen by the player. As chosen by the opposing. They'll destroy a troop they are opposing. The destroyed troop is chosen by its owner, by its owning player, by the player who owns it. So you get to choose who gets destroyed. Obviously, you're going to have some units that you maybe want to bring into a battle to literally die. Hey, we have a bunch of irregulars here who took a bunch of hits. I'm going to kill all my irregulars. They're useless and they're cheap, but I've sent them off to die effectively because I know I'm going to take damage. So I may as well lose that than my armor. When all the hits have been calculated, both sides will remove units equal to the number of hits generated. Let's see. Destroyed. And scores a hit by rolling equal to or greater than their attack. That's a... Okay. Why do I do this? A unit will... Actually, no. A trooper will score a hit by rolling equal to or greater than their attack or defend value. This is where some of the, like, originally this was actually supposed to be like a 1-to-1 thing. Like, it's a 1-to-1. Like, if I have 5 troops fighting, you have 5 troops fighting, we will kill each other. There's a tie. Let's see. When all the hits have been calculated, both sides will remove units equal to the number of hits generated. Both sides will remove their own troopers equal to the number of hits fucking hell. Why did I write these this way? Why am I the way that I am when all hits have been calculated? All hits have been calculated. Both players will remove their own troopers equal to the number of hits that they have taken. That's why attacking is actually kind of dangerous, because you need more, because equal to the number. Whoever takes most of the losses will retreat their force into adjacent province they own. Or is unclaimed. If there is a tie, then the defender is victorious. If the army cannot retreat into a friendly province, the entire army is destroyed. 2 armies move into the same province in the same season. The first player will move into it is considered the defender. 3 or more players enter said province and none are allied. Then the 3rd player who enters the province may fight the winner of the previous battle. The Forlorn Hope rule. I'll reduce the size here a little bit. This is actually nationalist forces taking on the some Chinese communists. This was during the purge, which I'm going to need to put into the side note, the hospitality clause. Hospitality clause. If the warlords have a temporary treaty. Actually, I should say, if an opposing warlord enters a province with no intent to fight, and the owner of the province also does not wish to fight, the two have the hospitality clause, making it so they cannot fight one another, making so they do not. Actually, no. Okay. If a previous treaty, non-alliance treaty was signed in an army moving into a opposing warlord's province, may be allowed to an army moving into opposed warlord's province may be allowed to stay without triggering a battle. However, the owner of the province may decide to betray them, engaging in a battle with them immediately as the attacker. So pretty much how this works, how the hospitality clause works, is that if I'm moving into we've signed a treaty. I said I'm going to move. I've paid you a little bit of money. I'm going to allow to move my troops to your territory to kind of set myself back up. I'm like, all right, I'll let you do this. I can betray you. I can say you're in my territory. I'm going to attack you. I am going to be on the attack, even though I own the province. I am going to attack you. If I win, you're going to get forced back into a territory. If I lose, I'm going to get forced back. So it's kind of that, like, you can't, as the kind of person entering it, you can't really make that decision. It's the person who owns the province, which is kind of that risky thing. Like, it's the hospitality clause. As the owner of the place, you have the decision to betray trust, not the other person. So I just betray them, engaging. The warlord. The owner of the province might decide to betray them, engaging in a battle with immediately as the attacker. This is treated as normal. If the owner of the province is normal. If a tie is scored, the warlord who actually, if a tie is this is treated as normal. If there is a tie, then the warlord who entered the province is forced back. Is forced to retreat. Choose your allies carefully. Mostly because you don't really need to tell people, hey, I'm going to be moving, I'm going to move a lot of my troops in, or only going to move like 2-3 troops in. You don't have to tell them that. You can just say, I'm moving troops in. And you could be, hey, you're not terribly confident this person's not going to fucking betray you. Move in your entire army. And if they try to pull some shit, they're going to get their shit rocked and pretty much lose territory. If they're smart about it, they won't do that. Can I put you like right there? That looks a little bit awkward. I'll put you like right there. So that's the hospitality clause. Hospitality clause is on page 16. That means we have to... Hi, phone. How are you doing? Do you want to tell me all about it? Let's see. Hospitality clause. Hospitality clause. Where was the hospitality clause? There we go. Page 16. Let's see what the result is. Let's see what's happened. What's hippity happening. How was your day? Cold and tired. That's all it was. It was cold and tired. I don't know. Okay, the cycle of things, defeat and rebirth. When warlord's final territory has been claimed, they've been integrated. The warlord's direct attempt to become sole ruler has ended. However, instead of being eliminated from the game directly, the warlord may instead become a new factor in the ground. When defeated, the warlord has two options: becoming a lieutenant in another government, or becoming a lieutenant of another warlord, I should say. Warlord, or becoming a foreign dignitary. Defeated, make one of their rivals, choosing either the warlord with the least amount of territory or the smallest military. The new lieutenant offers their employer. Let's see, I need to change that to choosing the warlord with the least amount of territory, smallest military, total number of units of total number of troops, or the warlord that integrated them. The new lieutenant offers their employer two unique bonuses. Additional action once a year during any season. The use of an action twice during the year. If multiple lieutenants find themselves in service in Warlord, these bonuses increase, resulting in more actions, more uses of actions. With their defeat, the foreign investment is lost, as well as any other resources. All they bring is their intellect and additional hands to assist their employer. Should the employer also be defeated, they will gain the opportunity of joining another warlord or becoming a foreign dignitary. Yeah, welcome to the foreign dignitary section. Yeah. So I didn't even have secret objectives. Hong Kong, Shanghai. What's the imperial bonus? So, the world holds deep interest in Chinese fear due to all treaty ports and rising tensions across the world. It's their best interest to find allies among Chinese hierarchies. Bring about their own end. When a defeated warlord joins a foreign power, their power's goal. And with control of the improvements, forming their own funds and colonial troops based out of one of the headquarters. Should the need arise, they can intervene once a season. Send troops to assist any battle taking place that season or building industry railways in any territory. Wish to enjoy the benefits of the improvements, they'll need to listen to the dignitaries' demands. More and direct intervention can be issued once a year. We'll increase that to 10 silver. Actually, sending troops into some battle taking place in any territory belonging to a warlord who has purchased an improvement. So warlord wish to enjoy the benefits of the improvements, they'll need to listen to the dignitaries' demands. Direct intervention can be issued once a year by plan adjacent to their headquarters. Once they're bunkered in a territory, may be torn down by the warlord for diplomacy action. Titan of industry. They placed out two railroads or an industry and a railway by playing 15 silver. Sun never sets. 40 silver and 40 troops in reserve by the end of the turn. They have an army and half in the area and are not letting it go. Hey, today I would be adding cards to the years. Hey, today I would add playing cards to the Year Zero engine. How do you plan on doing that, Varric? Oh lord, that's a new one. I don't know if I like it either. Let's see, Soviet Union, Red Tide was expand the revolution. Warlord's largest amount of Soviet investors secures half of China. The Soviet Union wins. Win a regular troop every season, they get purchased by their warlords during diplomacy. And oh, I do have some other ones. Taisho, Japanese Empire, Imperial Horizon. Certain territory can attack any coastal territory as well as intervene in any of them. HQ Korea, Hong Kong, all that glitters, 80 silver, money, resources, all that. Business of business. The United States gains 3 silver for each U.S. improvement owned by any warlord. Over the horizon. 8 successful invasion interventions with their own troops. Invade twice a year. I'm going to boost that up to 12 successful invasions. So I think this idea should work. Is pretty much what this does. What this method does. Okay, I'm not going to sneeze. Yeah, my dead silence there was like, am I going to sneeze now? Effects initiative and something else. I already added random stats and random classes. You've probably already look at Savage Worlds too. Look at the older Savage Worlds specifically. That has some unique card aspects to it. I would say also if you can find a copy of, I want to say Deadwood. I know it's not called Deadwood. Welcome to Deadlands. That's it, Deadlands. Look at the old Deadlands RPG. That has some stuff with cards as well. Like that might be helpful. Yeah, because people sometimes forget this. Like, Deadlands used to also be its own game. It used to be its own system. But I think probably the most famous version is now, Deadlands Reloaded, which is the Savage World edition. But yeah, no, Deadlands used to actually be its own game. For all the problems that go along it. It came out in 96. God, it's an oldie. It's older than I am. Yeah, like the Marshal and the Posse. Like, yeah, Deadlands was Deadlands was an oldie. No, it's 36 playing card deck, not 54. Oh. Slavic playing card decks. Oh. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Yeah, The Great Railway. Oh, Jesus. I guess you don't really think about all of the... That's kind of interesting, actually. Because... Yeah, no, this was... Because of Deadlands, we got Savage Worlds. Huh. I guess that if you think about it, and like, yeah, no, that kind of adds up. Range Wars, like little discs. Oh, Lord. Man, the early 2000s was a wild ride. Learn something new every day, I guess. The Savage Worlds gone. How many editions of Savage Worlds are there? There are... There's a few. I think there's 4 editions of Savage Worlds, right? Am I losing my mind here? I think there's about 4 editions of Savage Worlds. And I know they were... Weren't they making... Yeah. Weren't they making aggressive noises about wanting to do a new edition for it? Or like a 4.5 or something about it? I remember hearing something about that a few months ago. But I didn't hear anything else about it. Or it might have just been Pinnacle making noises, because that's what Pinnacle likes to do. Okay, so we've got all these. So we're going to need troop icons. I'm going to need building icons. Imperial Glory. I think I can do Imperial Glory. That shouldn't be too difficult. The secret objective for any player has won the game. Part of me doesn't want to do secret objectives. The other half of me really wants to do secret objectives. Because the idea behind secret objectives were that you, as the player, have something else you want to do. And that's kind of like your trump card kind of thing. Like, oh, well, I actually am, I work for the Qing. If I own half of China, I'm going to automatically win by virtue of saying I've reclaimed the mandate of heaven. Or, hey, I'm secretly I'm secretly actually just a foreign puppet, and if this foreign power wins, I win. So I'm always going to be trying to throwing money at these guys to do things, even if it's not benefiting me. But the idea is your secret objective is lost if you lose. If you lose everything, you kind of lose your secret objective. Oh no. Oh gosh. Come on, Google. Come on, Google Docs. All right. I'm looking at buildings. We cut secret objectives. See, the one big thing that I was worried about in this game, and the thing that's the hardest to, I'm not going to say balance necessarily, but kind of deal with, is the fact that iPhone players are incentivized to work together, but also not work together. Yes. Let's see, there we go. Turn you on. Funny stuff is that Grindhouse post-apocalypse Year Zero game, yeah. How many? I'm curious. How many games use the Year Zero engine? Year Zero engine. How many games actually use the Year Zero engine? So we have this from Frank Mitchell. And the Year Zero engine. I'm seeing 309 entries on drive-thru. I don't like where this is going. Let's see. Vasen Nordic. What the fuck is this? Vasen. Wait a second. Is it doing the thing again? No, it's in English. Everything is in English, in fact. It's just deciding to show me all the French stuff. For some reason, Drive-Thru RPG loves to change the language on me every now and again for no reason. It's great. It's really poggers. Let's see. Temples and Tombs. Animated. People keep telling me to look at Tales in the Loop. That is one thing that I always get recommended. Like, everyone's like, look at Tales in the Loop, look at Tales in the Loop, look at Tales. Tales. And it's like, I don't know. God, Community Year Zero engine. Yeah, because that's where scenario site in the Society Secret Service. God, this is neat. Vossen horror role playing. Vossen. Aborke. 746 Independent Tank Regiment. Okay, who is this for? Twilight 2000. A lot of Twilight 2000 stuff. That's a game I should look at, actually. See, that's a game I should look at. Corliss. Mutant Year Solo. You can play Mutant Year Zero solo. Forbidden Land, Fighting Pits. Huh. Interesting. I guess, you know, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's a Twilight 2000 is kind of like that, you know, sad creature that everybody, you know, looks at and cries a little bit on the inside for. But I guess that's what happens when you... Huh. I guess that's what happens. Tales from the Loop. Tales from the Loop, it's fascinating to me. Because I remember seeing the artwork for it, and then, like, the TV show came out, and I'm like, wait a second, is that game? They also are making new Twilight 2000. You do know, I know Free League is Swedish. For God's sakes, they made a Morkaborgus. So, of course, I remember that they are, unfucking fortunately. God, why do the Swedes have to ruin everything? Let's see, foreign dignitaries. So I just need to make tokens, really, at this point. And tokens are things that just are going to take time. A lot of time, in fact, because tokens are annoying. Unless I just use, like, free tokens. Like, I wonder if I can find, free game icons. Yeah, if you ever really need to go by anything to find, like, just good icons, go to freegamesicons.net. These guys do a bunch of, there's free little icons that they make, and they just upload for free. Everything is CC by what, you know, everything's good, and it's free. And this is probably what a majority of the icons are going to look like, are going to be from this site. And just going to be me up, you know, probably doing some, like, minor editing to them, like, very minor, just to make sure they look right and kind of fit. I mean, let me do rifle, musket, FAMAS, Lee Enfield, bullets, bayonet. Not a Winchester. I guess we can just use this icon for infantry. Let's do we have a hat icon? And there's some other ones. Yeah, we have options for that one. So actually, I'm gonna check something real fast. We're gonna go to Miro, my darling, Miro, my beloved. Yeah, it's pretty much what I need to do is I need to have infantry as well as irregulars. That's why infantry I was going to use a rifle for. Like, this is an actual soldier, while irregulars is just going to be like a hat or something. Just something to kind of give them the idea, like, this is not like a trained actual soldier. These guys suck. These guys these men are going to die, and they're going to die because you threw them into the literal hellscape because you suck and you hate them, and everybody is going to cry. Everybody is dead. Good job. So, let's see. This is actually one of the few games I have actually fairly extensive notes on. Let's see. Whoever controls more than half. This was the original idea, though I've kind of changed things. Let's see. Basic version, Secret Alliance and Orders, historical. Like, historical mode would be fairly simple, because at the end of the day, if we really go to Chinese Warlord era, 19... God, it would be, what, 1930? 1930? Would it? No, it'd be 1934. Because I'm trying to remember, because there's some weird eras that you have to kind of think about. You know, it's because you have this, like, the Central Plains Wars, but it would be post-Central Plain. Like, the historical mode would be post-Central Plains. You know, post-Central Plain War. Which would be, you know, about 1930 to about 1936. And that would be kind of the eras that you could probably, it'd be about 19... If I really wanted to, I could do this. 1926 to 1936 and start you out with 26, but then you have, you know, Zheng Zhuilong and the Fang Tan. You have the Fang... Thing is, you'd have the Fang Tan government. Warlord era. There's a reason no one touches this era. For many, many reasons. Yeah, because it would be the Northern Expedition. Then you have the Shanghai Massacre. Use shovel for air regulars. That's a good idea, actually. Because, like, one of the issues with the Chinese Warlord era, the hardest thing with it is that the cliques, you know, the cliques and the warlords, like, they shifted. They went down, and sometimes they changed, and some people would re-seize power and then lose that power and then regain the power in different areas. What I may do, and I'm going to piss off everybody doing this, so, roughly speaking, this is Hearts of Iron 4, that, you know, that small unknown game that nobody knows about. And when you begin the game, this would be roughly what I would have to look at. This is the expanded map mod with all of those. Oh God, click on the right thing, please. OBS, my beloved. So, I'm trying to find, like, the ideal. Just use the warlords present in Hearts of Iron 4 for just ease of use more than anything. Just play Warriors of Fate Lamau. Yeah, I mean, let's see, Warriors of Fate. Yeah, wrong Civil War. Wrong Chinese, wrong era. Very wrong era. Though I should actually, let's see. So historical version, you know, historical mode would be probably during the Central Plain Wars. Or we do it or we change it to about 1930. So post that, the nationalist government has been founded by Chiang Kai-shek. But the communists have just reestablished themselves in the north. So we kind of have the tense moments leading up to the Second Sino-Japanese War. So that would be roughly what historical would look like. Kingdom of Heaven, reduce the unit amounts. Like, Kingdom of Heaven... I honestly would... It's already pretty easy to play this game. I don't think we're really... See, if I wanted to do this, like Kingdom of Heaven, I would take away things like it'd be like no air wings, no... Yeah, it'd be pretty much no air wings, no industry, no railways. Pretty much this would be like ancient Chinese era. That's how it would effectively play out. You have infantry and your armor, quote unquote, is cavalry. No South final boss yet, no. RTK, we're not doing RTK. I love Romance of the Three Kingdoms. I love all of that stuff, unfortunately. Let's see, Rising Sun. Rising Sun is easy enough, because Rising Sun would effectively be right during the night. It would be during 1934, I believe, is when the Second Sino-Japanese War kicked off. No, that'd be 35. Second Sino-Japanese War, 1935. No, it's 37. Oh God. I'm getting my numbers all fucked up here. So it'd be 37. It'd be 37 plus. Now the idea behind Rising Sun, the hard part you could say, is that one player, actually no players are going to start at Japan, but Japan's going to be automated, and all of their troops are going to be broke as shit. Every single one of the Japanese troops are going to be incredibly powerful. The problem is, they aren't getting that much. They have really good troops who are going to rip you a new asshole. But they have that because they are allowed to... They get waves of troops. Every year, they're going to get some new troops. But not nearly enough of what they need. And that's how you're going to win. You're pretty much going to burn them out. But if you fuck up and aren't able to do that, you're going to lose. And every time somebody loses, every time a warlord player is destroyed, they get integrated into Japan. They become pretty much Japan too. And they become effectively a lieutenant of them, giving them more actions, more troops, more everything. Because the Japanese government's like, oh, haha, I'm able to see this. Effectively, someone's playing Manchukuo or Menguko. Let's see. Mandate of Heaven. Claim mandate. It's all versus them. Scenario forcing longer games in case things go nuts. Mandate of Heaven. Really, this one doesn't apply. Imperial Glory. That's already in the base game. So I would say the ones that need work, it would be this one. That could be pretty easy. This one. And this. Don't really need to worry about that because that's already kind of what the game is. These would be the three that I would want to work on. But we have the basics. That's the core thing. Like we have the basics of what the game is. All I need to do now is kind of put this in a PDF and upload everything to tabletop simulator for people to actually play. And once I get some feedback on it, once I get some like good ideas of like, this is what you can do and this is how the game actually kind of plays out, should be good. Should work. Should being the very operative word, by the way. So, yeah, I think we're doing pretty alright there. I just have to remember to do that when I get some time. What else are we going to do today? Oh, yes. I should go back to Miro. I forgot. Gotta go back to Miro. I was thinking about something. And that something was, well, it appears my good idea has been thoroughly smashed. My brilliant plan isn't going to work out as well as I was hoping for. So, we're going to go whoop. Whoop. Template box, we're going to put you like right there. I don't really know what even to call this game. So for now, we're just going to call it Utopia Wars. It's going to be like in fucking Advance Wars with mechs, because I can do that, because I have zero morals. So, what is this? What is this game? Well, it's effectively what I said I was going to do with Lancer, but I'm just going to make it its own game. Because I can do that. Because again, I have no morals, and I really don't care. And Tom doesn't have that proper design rigor that I believe he needs, or he likes to say he does. So, let's see, we have this. I'm going to put things like right here. And let's see, reimagining Lancer. Pilots are, quote, barely functional combat murderers. Which are, you're going to have a lot of pilot effects. And then we're going to have some out of mech work. Actually, I should say pilot mech combat is going to be a big thing to me, because they want you to be able to rodeo a motherfucker. And the TVU Discord, yeah. It's pretty much the idea is keep with that. Because one of the things with Lancer is that Lancer doesn't use its setting very well. Lancer says there is literally 3D printed mechs. We have 3D printed mechs, effectively. And with those 3D printed mechs, we've hit post-scarcity. So we have these massive 3D printers that allow us to do whatever we want, and people just don't use them to what they would actually do. Because what people would actually do, if you had access to a 3D printed software, if we had luxury gay space communism, the first fucking thing someone would do is 3D print themselves a fucking rifle. Hence why it's the idea of Linux Lancers. It's a fucking 3D model in the future. Yeah, it would be, you would have people immediately trying to model themselves their ideal thing. It wouldn't be like, well, shit, here's my mech, and they're getting the mech is the easy part. But it's about the pilots, because ultimately that is what I feel is the most important thing about any mech game. It's about the pilots. And whether the pilots are really important or not, it's about you, the player, piloting these mechs. And as the idea here, with the idea of the Linux Lancers, is your mechs are open source. So how do you get a leg up on people? Someone can Google your Lance, can Google your mech, and find out exactly how you printed it. You want to know what you got to do with it? You got to print out all the right specs and change it. You got to tweak that thing. And that's why it's the idea behind, you are barely functional combat murderers. You have dedicated your entire life to being a pilot. And I want you to feel that way. Is when you walk in, I want people to feel afraid of you. People, when you are hired to do a job, it's not, oh boy, we have heroes showing up to save the day. No, it's, oh god, what are you talking about? They're here? Aw, shit, this game is Arc-Link Lancers. It's like, it's that immediately sense of fear, because you are not really well put together. You are someone who gotta jack up on drugs because you find it like, this is fine, you say, as you like effectively have to rocket jump on top of a gigantic robot, punch the pilot inside of it, rip his head off, and then re-steal his mech to start shooting his friends. I want that to be a thing. And, it's kind of the highs and lows of being a barely functional, murder machine in the size of a man. Let's see, fine tuning, it's yours, not a company's. We can call it, dystopic futures. Setting is consistently grim hilarious. You aren't getting you aren't getting the message that we live in a dystopia. Who the fuck cares? Yeah, it reminds me of that one guy from World War II being like, well, I got to fly around on a plane, I got to ride a motorcycle, I got to shoot some Germans. The war was, I love the war. This was a lovely time. You're effectively that guy times 10. Like, you live for this. Because, there isn't a future for you after it. Hence the Utopia Wars. Everybody wants to find their perfect utopia, but it doesn't exist. So it's a utopic future in all but, application. So let's see. Setting is consistently grim, hilarious. Kind of amp up the grim dark, a little bit grim dirt, but a little bit hilarious at the same time. Because again, you're a clown of fate because you are okay with that. Lancer from Mechanic, Linux Masters, fine tuning yours, not a company. We want to do open source mechs, open source mecha. Open source mecha, and then we have 3 post-scarcity, post-scarcity society, but still fundamentally human. Hence where the idea of the Utopia Wars come in. If you have access to everything, why are you on YouTube? Why am I on YouTube? No. I stream on YouTube every once in a blue moon because people say you should dual do it. So I stream on YouTube for occasional weekend streams. Sometimes I don't. It kind of depends on what I feel like. That's why salmon. Will you add parts to mecha building? Yeah, that's what it would be. Like, that's what I'm going to have to do. I do have some mech stuff. Like, if I go here, if we go to lexicon and we do, where's the mech building? Where's the mech building? Shèjì, it's the mech. Get in the mech, Shèjì. It's the Mets. It's the Mets, my friend. It's the Mets. Yeah, hit a home run. Hit a homer. Oh, we want to do mech building, mech building, mech building. Okay. These are Mechton ZZ time. Yeah, not as bad as Mechton. Yeah, Metallic Reflection of the Soul. Welcome to the Grambelm game. Which I went. This is probably one of my more autistic projects in which I literally went through the entire. I added in a lot of parts, and I added in every part that I could think of, and let you build whatever you felt like. Like, this is a final Arminox right here. You know, as a rose. This is just stage 1. Like, this is a shit ton of stuff you can add into your mech to do stuff. Ain't gonna be that bad. Oh wait, yeah, here's this is the saga of King Arthur and the Men of Metal. This one has a little bit more. I might actually break. I might actually dedicate it to this one a little bit more with these designs than anything. Then we have tank designs for iron caskets. Because yes, you can technically play iron caskets as a mech game. That is entirely possible, and there's a reason I designed it as such. It's very determined. It's a very certain kind of mech. You're not. What the hell? Can I? No, apparently this is all like one thing. All right, cool. Thanks, Google. It's about the mech, Shèjì. So, yeah, I got a few ideas. Let's see. Post-scarcity society, pilots are barely functional combat monsters. Now, one of the things is our basic system requirements. So, our system requirements. Because this is going to be not really this isn't like this is a response to Lancer. No, it's going to be Notepad. Notepad the mechanic gets a little autistic about Lancer and why he doesn't like it, and it's going to be me like, these are the reasons why I don't like Lancer very much, and I'm just going to do my own thing with them because I can. So what I am going to be doing is I'm going to be using a D20 system. But it's going to be Notepad D20. Like, that's the first thing. It's going to be Notepad D20 with my own particular set of things I have with it. And it also is going to allow me to kind of formalize this down a little bit. Based Grand Belm Appreciator. Yeah, no, Foster McRogers. Grand Belm, I will always associate Grand Belm with, like, man, how to waste potential. The second half of that series is stupid as fuck, but god, the mech combat was cool. So I wrote an entire game. I distinctly remember how it came to be. I was laying in bed. It was in the middle of the night. I'm going to sleep tier. I'm going to bed. Fuck it, I'm dead. And I wake up I don't know what happened. This is a spark of inspiration. I'm like, mechs. It's the mechs. I get up, I go to my computer, I turn everything on, and I write out this massive list of stuff I want from a Grand Belm game. This massive list. Like, it took me an hour to write. And I don't even know my name at this point, but I typed it all out, saved it. The next day I looked at it, I'm like, wow, this is really autistic. So I wrote the entire thing. I did that. I shared that one on... That was before I started streaming, actually, when I wrote Grand Belm. Yeah, it was before I started streaming and before I wrote Grand Belm. I wrote the Redux of I did the Redux of Grand Belm on stream, but that was before Note Sonas became a thing. So I should go back to Grand Belm one of these days and just go over things, but I like it where it is currently. So we're going to be using Notepad D20 for it, though, because, again, Lancers, we're going to be making fun of Lancer doing it. However, we're also going to be applying our own little bits of logic to it, because Notepad D20, I go to, where are you? Because one of the core ideas about Notepad D20 is that it's about momentum. And in momentum, you are constantly taking the higher. I'm going to probably change up the advantage-disadvantage system a little bit. But the idea behind momentum is pretty simple. So if I take my D20, and let's say, good news, I scored a D20. Scored a nat 20. Something good's happening. You seize the momentum. Succeed at their action they're attempting, as well as conferring additional benefits. Wow, max damage. Plus their damage die. I'm doing more stuff. Things are happening. My next roll, man, I only rolled a 13. Well, shit. My crits end. You can spend 7 health or 7 of a resource to boost that up to a 20. Being like, you want to continue that, that engine of destruction, boost it up to a 20. Get stronger. And that's kind of where the idea behind Notepad D20 comes in. It's just the idea of momentum, of going faster. Overclocking yourself, and that's one thing I want to do. So we do Notepad D20. So we're going to need a lot of mech customization. Plus parts. Parts/equipment. Because we're going to need... I'm going to need to almost make Mechton blush, with just the amount of stuff I need to put into it. Is it going to be as bad as things like Mechton? No, I'm not that good. Like, I am only a single person, but I can see what I can do. And we want to do jerry-rigging mechs. And one other thing we want to do is we want to keep pilots. Actually, pilot stats. Pilot stats plus mech stats equal good. Because I want to make sure one of the major... Yeah, it's one of the major things that I want to get across is that your pilot is a pilot. Your pilot is something important. You are an individual who is born, raised, trained, excels and double excels at piloting these mechs. And tweaking it should feel important to you. So it's your attributes, pilot attributes have a direct impact on the mech and the battle. Because these are going to be effectively Linux mechs, because these are Linux mechs, they're open source, you can do whatever you want with them. They're pretty easy to get your hands on it. It's about the people piloting them, though. And that's what's going to be mostly about, it's a mech game for mech people. And non-mech people. Like, if you want to play this as a drama, I'm not going to stop you, but it's going to be a game about mech people and people who pilot these things. Will pre-built mechs be overpriced? Probably. You're going to have your standard one. That's actually kind of funny. That could actually be kind of a funny idea going throughout. Actually, here, let me put a note over here. Make it a meme setting about computing. Computing and the tech industry. There we go. That could be something amusing. Let's see. We want to do that. But as a pilot, most checks I'm going to see are going to be, you're going to have bonuses and stuff, obviously, but it's going to be your pilot plus your mech attributes equal whatever this is. Good pilot plus good mech. Good mech equal good results. Bad pilot plus good mech equal meh results. Good pilot plus bad mech equal meh results. Bad pilot plus bad mech equal bad results. Luckily, you're an awesome pilot. Because you are an awesome demigod of piloting, you're going to be able to make even like, hey, this is a farmer bot we have, it's time to be things. Pilots have direct impact on mecha and battle, so... yeah, we're going to have to do with some weapons, we're going to have some aspects there. Probably we're going to want to keep things fairly light in that regard. So, if anything, we can probably do something like a 2d20. That wouldn't be terrible, actually, like a 2d20 system. But I know, I think we'll keep it with a d20 and just keep it with... what we need to do more than anything is we need to formalize down Notepad D20 so we can use it later for other things. So what we need to do is emphasize momentum-based situations and combat. Keep things weighty. Keep fights weighty and brutal. Out of combat moments have mechanics and purpose. But are lighter weight. This is at its core going to be a combat game, but I want to have these to have purpose, because most of the time in a lot of these games, because one of the games I actually used Notepad D20 methodology for was actually where I actually got the idea. Welcome to Feast of Legends. For those who don't remember Feast of Legends was a game by Wendy's. Yes, Wendy's made a game. And Feast of Legends was it. I hated Feast of Legends so much, I decided to write a new version of Feast of Legends. So I did. Yeah. most important, like the most like big thing here, like the big thing, the gimmick with this version of the game, the Feast of Legends, is that your health isn't really health, it's hunger, and your hunger is always depleting and you don't really have that much health. The idea is, you guessed it, increasing it. It's about going faster, about getting more hunger to determine how fast, how strong, how many other things you are. But, because you have less health, it's a draining thing. It's about momentum. You want to keep up the momentum. Yeah, no, these are like, the thing is with Feast of Legends, with the original Feast of Legends, there was actually some weirdly decent ideas, and I hate it because it was Feast of fucking Legends, but yeah, no, to give you the idea of the amount of autism that went into this game, this is me going over every single moment of the uh did I write out most of the Wendy's menu as as classes? Yes, I did change most of them as attack as items, because I have zero sense of right or wrong. So let's see, advancements, because this was the entire one of the big things here, was that I put in an entire food system, like full-on cooking system, and like how to make meals and things like that. And where was the other thing? Yeah, during adventures, you had to deal with the fact that you were constantly bleeding out. Effectively, your health was always lowering. So having the right amount of items, having the right health, having the right things was more important than anything else. So let's see, proof of, yeah, we have our proof of concepts. I never finished this either, nor do I want to. Okay. Alright, I have a few ideas. I know how to do this. Okay, I think I'm going to call it there for today, though. This is the idea for Utopia Wars. I want to keep things fast. I want to keep things momentum driven. I need to do a little bit more research on D20 systems for this game. But the hard part is going to be here. And I think that's where we're going to put in like the main gimmick, you could say, which is going to be fine-tuning your mech. You're going to be wanting to, when you're out of combat, it's going to be about fine-tuning these things. It's about upkeeping them. It's about replacing parts. It's going to be about managing your resources, because in a world where no one has to worry about resources, it's the things that are valuable are now something more important. The fact that you've dumped so much time, effort, and money into making sure that this mech looks amazing because you have a bunch of illegal shit on it that you shouldn't, makes you want to keep it better. You want to, hey, my arm got blown off last time. I'm going to rip off his arm and replace mine. Or hey, most of my armor is fucked. I'm going to need supplies, resources, and I need to pretty much put new armor on this. It's going to take time. It's going to take resources. It's going to take me sitting on my ass fixing things. So that's where a majority of the non-combat aspect is going to be. It's going to be about tweaking, fixing, and making your mech yours, as well as probably having an entire thing on running your own mercenary company of mecha pilots who, in the tech, it's the Silicon Valley, except you're all mecha pilots, barely functional and ready to kill things. Ta-da! Good job, Mr. Y. You've introduced chaos into the world. Alright, I'm gonna go as well. I need to make dinner. So, Godspeed, good luck. I'll catch you all on Monday for the continuation of Dying of Dryads. Tonight I actually have to work on Dying of Dryads as well. And Dying of Dryads Monday, I'm feeling pretty good about that one. It shouldn't be too difficult, shouldn't be too hard. It'll just mostly be time consuming. That's the big thing. On Wednesday, if things go well, we might be able to finish Dying of Dryads, and then this next Friday, we will be working on maybe Hell Jumpers if things go according to plan. If not, we'll work on it. I'm not going to sleep yet. It's only like 7. Then next Saturday, just so everybody realizes, next Saturday at 12 EST, at noon EST, we are going to be going over Shèjì, I believe that's what it's. That's the proper pronunciation of it. Let me double check. I need to, as you can tell, I need to brush up on my social credit score here real fast. God bless the People's Republic of China. Dekoye Shèjì, Wuxia RPGs. The Curious Case of Wuxia RPGs. We're going over 5 games. Possibly 6, possibly even 7, but Wushu is still in flux right now because Wushu is kind of weird, because it is and isn't Wuxia at the same time, and Legends of Wulin are also very well known, but not really well known at all, so I keep debating on whether or not I want to do that. If you have, if you have an idea, if you would like Legends of Wulin, tell me in my server. If you wouldn't like Wulin, Legend of Wulin, don't tell me. Ta-da! God bless the CCP. All right, I am away. My social credit score is already tanking as we speak.